What's up all my Phoenix fans out there? It's Shadow here with a fantastic new video for you. Actually, it's not so fantastic, but still. So we are back in Planet Zoo today, and we are going to continue working on my little zoo. As I said in the last time, I wanted to try to build a, well, like I said, I had ideas. I guess I never said what I was going to do, but I was going to try to build like a mountain kind of area over here on the left-hand side of the park. Using, I was going to try to build a mountain, and then I was going to like kind of put different habitats around the mountain, like kind of dotting it, I guess you could say, where the path leads up, and then we'd have like maybe on top of the mountain like a little rest area with a restaurant and some gift shops and stuff, and that would kind of be our wilds section, I guess you could call it. This would be where most North American animals, or what I consider to be North American animals, things like bears, wolves, etc. So I started working on this, and I suddenly quickly realized that the terrain tools in Planet Zoo are also lacking from what we know from Planet Coaster. This is actually pretty awful, really, because what I could have done in just a couple of minutes in Planet Coaster took me 2 hours to do in Planet Zoo, and I don't quite understand. I mean, I think I do understand, but one thing is that you can get very, very detailed in very small spaces with the terrain tools that we have in Planet Zoo, whereas Planet Coasters were a little bit more bulky. However, when you're trying to build a mountain, bulky is what you want. It doesn't look like you can't really get the circle as big as you can in Planet Coaster. And you can't really, I guess the intensity isn't as strong as it is in Planet Coaster, which basically means I had to sit here for 2 hours trying to make a mountain out of molehills. Like, this seriously looks like lumpy mashed potatoes on a plate. This was awful. I tried a couple different ways. I tried using those stamps that they have, and that doesn't really work. I tried making a habitat out of the mountain, because I noticed when you save your enclosures, it saves the when you save your habitats, I guess it saves the terrain with it. So I thought, what if we build a mountain or a small hill, and then we just make a enclosure out of that, and then just maybe kind of keep stacking that, and then maybe I can get a mountain a little easier. Didn't quite work that way either. It just kind of kept cutting down into it, so that didn't work. Yeah, I don't know. This was just not really working for me. So I did finally get something that I consider to be kind of good. I'm gonna have to keep working on it a little bit here and there, though, to try to make it bigger, because it's a very small mountain, and it just really wasn't what I wanted. So rack that up to another flaw in this game. Anywho, so now that we finally got somewhat of a hill over here that we're going to use, now it's time to put in our new enclosure for the day. So for this, I decided to kind of put like the beginning area, like all around the bottom of it. I kind of thought we'd try to make like a little foresty area. I was thinking maybe deer. So since we don't have deer in the game, closest thing we have is antelope. So I decided to put some antelope down in here. Not really in kind of a grasslands area, but more of a kind of a small foresty area. I guess like maybe a forest area in like Colorado or something. I don't really know, but I mean, it was just kind of what I'm thinking, and I think it actually turned out quite good. What you're watching me do right now is going ahead and putting some fencing down around the area. Right there, actually, what I'm doing is trying to get this fence to turn. For some odd reason, even though the land was completely flat, it would not let me like angle that piece of fence. I actually ended up having to give up trying to make it go where I wanted, and then just like put another fence post down and then just connect the two like that, which is really weird. Like, it's gonna let me do that, but you won't let me turn it. Okay, I don't know. It just more weird things with this game. So we're going to just basically kind of enclose all of this and bring all the fence kind of around down this way. And that way we can kind of get where I want. Right there I kind of went too far, so I had to come back and delete a little bit. And there we have a the start of our antelope enclosure. I went with the chain link fence because I think the chain link fence looking thing here, I guess it's not really chain link, but it's, you know, just like metal fencing. I went with that because I thought that would be best for the deer. That way maybe it's just big enough where maybe the antelope can come up to the fence and maybe guests can, I don't know, feed them through the fence or something, you know, kind of like a semi-petting zoo, I guess. Yeah, so that was one thing we decided to do. I say we, but I don't know why I always say we, but it was what I decided to do. And then now I've got an idea here, so I'm going to go over here and we're going to put the habitat enclosure in, and then we're going to get our antelope. We're going to go buy a few antelope. Now I am playing in sandbox mode, so right off the bat, we only got like a couple of different antelope that we could have bought. None of them were that great, so we're going to have to try to like breed some and kind of go through there until we get some decent antelope. I'm not sure how many we're actually going to put in there. I've actually gone back after I recorded all this time-lapse footage, which, by the way, hooray, time-lapse footage is back. I know a lot of you guys really wanted to see more time-lapse footage in my videos because I kind of stopped doing it a while back ago. And the reason for that is because ever since I went to 4K, when I'm trying to stream, which is the only time I actually really get to kind of play the game most of the time, is when I'm streaming. OBS, which is what I use to stream with, is very weird about like how much of my power I'm using, and it starts telling me I have encoding problems, so therefore I can't really do a whole lot. I literally, like, I can play this game and I can play Planet Coaster on the highest settings in 4K and it's perfectly fine. But the moment I try to start streaming in high settings, it just doesn't work. It just will not let me. It keeps causing problems, buffering, all kinds of stuff. So I end up always having to turn the settings all the way down. And I noticed while I was recording this that I was having the same problems even on low settings. And that was because I was actually recording this at the same time using Shoutout Play with my NVIDIA card. So it just doesn't like it. And I don't know if I'll be doing any more time-lapse footage from this point on because it's hurting my stream as well. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I need a bigger video card, and hey, $1,200 is just way too damn much for a video card. AMD is supposed to be coming out with one here soon, but yeah. Anyway, I digress. I'm talking about computer stuff when I should be talking about antelopes and habitats. So as you can see, they wanted some soil in their habitat. So I thought, ooh, let's take the soil and kind of make like deer paths that kind of wind around the different little hilly area in there. I think that'd look kind of cool. Then we started placing some trees and stuff over in here. And I don't even, oh yeah, this is where I was trying to find, I was trying to make sure that all their like foliage and stuff was good for them and that they didn't have any complaints. Unlike the flamingos, who have tons of complaints, these antelope were they were pretty happy with just about anything. They weren't too complicated to work with. We're gonna put a nice little pond right over here for them to come over to and drink, right next to the fence. That way the guests can watch them come over to the pond. And we're going to cover that in some, I needed some more soil, so I was trying to fix that up there. And we're going to put some reef kind of around the area here, some rocks, and maybe a fallen tree, a few other things. And while I'm fixing up this little pond area here and putting down some more foliage, let me go back to what I was saying about the video cards. So AMD is supposed to be coming out with an NVIDIA killer, and AMD is usually, their cards and chips and stuff are usually cheaper than like the other companies. They're a little more budget friendly, and if they can finally come out with a high-end graphics card that does 4K really well, at least on the equivalent of a 2080 Ti, then you know, I am down for that if they can actually do it. So far, every single time a new AMD card comes out, everybody says, oh, it's going to be the NVIDIA killer, and it is not. So, but hey, they did finally beat out Intel. They got the top CPU on the market right now as far as, you know, usage, and people are still like diehard Intel, but I mean the AMD chips are just better, and Intel has nothing right now to pit against it, and apparently from what I understand they won't for a while. So if you're looking for a new CPU, I suggest going AMD. And if they can come back and they can do this with the if they can beat out Nvidia on the high-end card range. They got some low-end cards right now that are the equivalent of some of Nvidia's lower-end cards, but they got nothing for the high-end, and really that's where I needed that. I need that 4K. So so hopefully they come out with something, and then I can actually stream and do everything I need to do in 4K without having to lower my graphics settings and all this other stuff. So, but right now, even if they did come out with it right now, it still wouldn't really do me much good because I'm only working kind of part-time, and I'm barely making ends meet as it is, so not going to be able to really afford to get like any kind of computer components for a while. Hopefully this whole streaming thing takes off. I've only been doing it for like 5 years, but hey, you never know. So yeah, I mean, everything is kind of coming together in this habitat. I'm really liking how this is looking. I'm just kind of putting some bushes down, some foliage, and some other things to try to make them happy. Try to make it look more like it's I don't know, the edge of a forest. I think that's really what I was kind of going for, is the bottom of a mountain, edge of a forest kind of look. We're gonna give them some enrichment items. I decided to put that food enrichment item there since it looked like it was on a stick that kind of came out. I thought, ooh, let's take that and put that out into into a tree, so it looks like it's poking out of a tree. That'll look really good. I put some of these scent things down there. I was kind of thinking that might be a good way to draw some of the antelope over into exactly where I want them to be, such as over by the water. It did kind of work, or at least I think it kind of worked. So again, I was streaming when I was doing this, so I thought I cut out a lot of the stuff that wasn't related to this actual build. So if you see me run over around to I don't know, the other areas of the zoo here, then just pay no mind to that, because I was actually just showing somebody something and talking about something during my stream, and I forgot to cut it out. So alright, so for shelter, on this I thought, let's build a barn. Let's go Amish, let's build a barn. So I started out trying to build it one way, and I wasn't happy with the way the roof was looking, so I thought, ooh, this will look good. So I kind of put the roof cap on there. It's kind of the angled roof cap, and then I come down with some 2-meter sloped like roof there, and then I basically made a wooden barn, and we're going to put it kind of half in the habitat and half not. And then what we'll do is we will take the habitat out, and we'll use the knoll fence, which is like the invisible fence, and we'll put it all the way around on the inside and kind of go around the edge of the barn. So it's very similar to how I did the flamingo habitat, except instead of just like a little concrete shelter little area, this time we're building a whole barn, because I don't know, I just thought these antelope would be better suited with a barn, maybe more so than most animals would be. So I don't know, I thought it was a good idea. I went with it. It worked out well. We're going to smooth out the terrain a little bit there, and we're going to finish the fencing. So this is me putting the knoll fence in, as you can see there, and this worked out really, really well. We're going to put our habitat entrance back in there, which I then noticed I could easily put one of these walls right here with just a little bit of adjusting, and I was able to get that to work. Now the next thing I'm going to do here, as you guys are watching, is I'm going to build a barn door out of beams and planks, and this is something that I'm carrying over from Planet Coaster, where here lately I've been building a lot of things just out of planks and stuff like that. I'm not too keen on all the building options and stuff we have in Planet Zoo. I thought when I was looking through some of the stuff in beta, or actually when I was watching them during TwitchCon, I guess it was, or all these other packs and all that, I thought we were going to have a ton more pieces than we would. At that point, some of the things weren't recolorable, so I was kind of worried at that point. But I thought, nah, Frontier wouldn't do that. They'd give us more recolorable stuff. Boy, was I wrong. So yeah, I'm not 100% happy with a lot of the building pieces and stuff that we actually ended up getting in the game. A lot of them look really good, but just having more recolorable, I don't know. Maybe as we go on, I mean, it is still early in the game's life. They haven't done any DLC yet. I mean, a lot of the pieces in Planet Coaster came from so many different DLC packs that over time, it's easy to lose track of like what all we got in what sets and stuff in order to get the game to what we have today. I still think, though, that this game is worse than Planet Coaster at launch. I think Planet Coaster was a fairly solid game at the beginning with a lot of things that, you know, there were some stuff, yeah, it did have some problems, and they did eventually end up fixing that. And I feel like Planet Zoo is, I don't know, I hope they're going to fix a lot of this stuff. They don't seem to be really addressing a whole lot of like concerns that people are having. Instead, they're mostly just in a roundabout way, just saying, shut up. You know, we're working on the game, but we're gonna do what we want, I guess. So yeah, instead of listening to what the people want, they're just gonna keep doing their own thing, which that worked so well with Planet Coaster, didn't it guys? Anyway, okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to rant. So yeah, we got our barn door kind of done there. I'm going to take we're going to kind of fancy this up a little bit here. One of the things that really bugs me about the building system in Planet Zoo over Planet Coaster is the fact that if you try to take anything off of a 4-meter grid, it just messes up. Everything just gets off, like really, really off. So the only way I can actually build anything is to build it on a 4-meter grid, and if I need it to be off of a 4-meter grid, I just separate it from the rest of the building and just place it myself, because it's going to be a whole lot easier than just trying to fix the mess that Frontier has done with the building system. All right, so that is our barn. Let's go ahead and head over into the actual game, and let's show off the complete habitat now that it is, I'm not going to say it's 100% finished because there's still a couple more things I want to do to it, but I think it looks really good, and I'll show you what I've done. So let's head over to that, shall we?
What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button down below and click on the bell to stay on top of all my new videos and live streaming events here on YouTube. I also want to give a huge shout out to all the names you see on the right for their support through donations, Patreon, and through Twitch subs. If you would like to join their ranks and you are able, you can do so by clicking on any of those links in the video description down below. No worries though, if you don't like giving away money like that, you can still support the channel by purchasing games or anything through Greenman Gaming, through Humble Bundle, or through Amazon by clicking on my links and making your purchase. A little bit of that goes towards me to support the channel. If you still can't get enough of me, you can always check me out live on twitch.tv and stay up to date with me on Twitter as well. Now that's going to be it, but I can't say thank you enough for all your support here on the channel. Wherever you guys are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. See you later.